All right. Live stream is up and I hear myself talking in the background. All right, live stream is up. I'm going to start the recording. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vinny Diamato, Chair of the BU Senate, and welcome to the Senate. Today is November 30th, 2020. So starting off, as always, we're going to start with roll call. So Savannah Majarwitz.
Present.
Evan Teplensky.
Here.
Achilles Stone.
Present.
Bella Newell.
Present.
Dhruv Kapadia.
Present.
Hassan Faruqi.
Present.
Janez James.
Present.
Jessica Zhang.
Present.
Spencer Kwan.
Present.
Lucy Kosova.
Present.
Navia Katuru.
Present.
Shahaf Dan.
Present.
Sui Muowo.
Present.
Vivian Dai.
Present.
Sum Yu Guan.
Here.
Brandon Yu.
Here.
Richard Siegelman.
Present.
William Harrison.
Present.
Amanda Schneider.
Present.
Cameron Fisher. Cameron Fisher. Sophie Jin.
Present.
Owen Kelly.
Present.
Maha Noor.
Present.
Shireen Bakray.
Present.
Cassidy Balboa.
Present.
Proxy for Joanna Shia.
Present.
And that's Michael Leone, correct?
Correct.
Noah Grafe.
Present.
Amy Luo.
Present.
Michael Leone.
Present.
Jaylene Ramirez.
Present.
Selena Chen.
Present.
Proxy for Sky Maxwell.
Present.
That's Lucy Kosova.
Lucy Yang.
Lucy Yang. Thank you. Jay Hao Jin.
Present.
Carla Leone.
Present.
Brianna Cole.
Present.
Mehar Ora.
I'll be proxying.
John Michael Aracena.
Present.
Ezra Bale.
Yep.
Samantha Casas.
Present.
Celine Machin.
Present.
Shayna Evans.
Present.
Keely Messini.
Present.
And Juliana Torres.
Present.
All right, so with that, that is 42 people, which puts us at, I believe, 38 for a supermajority. And what was, I cannot do math right now. Yeah, it's 28 for a supermajority and 22 for a simple majority. All right. So going over the agenda for today, starting off, we have the president's address, followed by a committee update from Expect More, followed by a budget update, and then an EOC/SEC update for the elections coming up, and then ending, as always, with open forum. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Okay, amazing. Hi, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know it was definitely different for myself, and I assume it was very, very different for all of you guys. But I hope you had a nice and relaxing Thanksgiving. It's that time of the semester where, you know, projects, finals, papers, all that wonderful stuff starts to pick up. So while you're working plenty on student government, make sure to focus on academics and really focus on, you know, the big aspect of mental health here. I know it's going to get busy. I know it's going to get tough, but the semester is almost over and we will get there. Some student government updates. Sweaters will be coming in within the next few days. If you put in a Google form for that, Naya received it and had put the order in about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and they plan to come in within the next, hopefully, 3 to 5 days. Naya will also be sending an email regarding people who are on campus along with people who are not on campus and away from BU. The people in person will socially distance, grab their sweater from the student government office. One of the e-board members will be in the back office, and we will have the door open. You can come in, grab your sweater and go, and we'll just market it down. Naya will provide a schedule as to when we will be in the offices. So she'll provide that schedule rather soon as the sweaters come in. For LFA, Naya will be working with SAO to ship those sweaters to you. More updates to come on that as well. Thanksgiving video. So about 70 plus students, faculty, administrators submitted a video. Super nice. Thank you guys to whoever submitted and shared it. We had 1,000+ views on it, which was really, really great. Some good publicity for, StuGov, and just, a great way for the BU community to come together. Recruitment for student government will be beginning on January 18th, specifically for staffers within the Senate committees, along with cabinet and their departments. David and Kat and Kat's team will be working on the whole recruitment aspect. We had a super successful one in September, and we hope to have another successful one here as we see plenty of room for people getting involved. If your college government would like to recruit, I think I mentioned this last week, but I want to reiterate, please DM, direct message David or Kat. We're happy to recruit for your college government. I know some college governments are looking for numbers. Student government is happy to do so. Next thing, Naya will also be sending you guys an email within the next couple of weeks, most likely after the semester ends, but I just wanted to send put a quick message here. We will be having an all hands on deck meeting sometime during January break. This will be every single member of the executive branch, legislative branch, judicial branch, and hopefully college governments as well. This will probably happen around January 10th or January 11th or 16th, somewhere in the middle of January. This will be where student government, the leaders of each of the branches will go over what we have accomplished over the course of the last semester and what we hope to accomplish next semester within our own branches. And then we will do some breakout rooms. And this is where student government members from across all colleges, across all branches can discuss, some other different ways. And we're going to give some good topics, for example, increasing student engagement. So just be aware of an email coming to you guys soon. My last announcement, which will be a rather longer one, with SEC joining us tonight to go over the election schedule, I would like to inform you all. I informed my e-board earlier. This is something I informed Vinny and Andrea as well, is that I will not be running for president again next year. My main focus is on finishing this semester strong, and then, beginning and finishing the spring semester on a very high note with this year's student government. I'm very excited for the next semester. I believe we've done some incredible work so far, but there's always plenty more to do to enhance the BU experience for our community. But I would also like to mention that if you or anyone is interested in running for president or e-board and would like to speak to me, I'm more than happy to chat. I'm more than happy to open up my schedule. I can be a soundboard. I can tell you about my experiences as president so far, what the campaign was like for myself, what the experience has been like since I was elected back in April with my e-board, and what the job really entails past just what it says in the Constitution. Feel free to text me or email me. But once again, I'm more than happy to chat with you or anybody even if you're not set on running and you just want to learn more about what e-board does, feel free to send me a message over Slack, email, or feel free to shoot me a text. But yeah, I'll allocate some time for any questions that people might have for me on anything I mentioned or anything in general. Okay, that sounds great. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm more than happy to answer. But thank you again. Looking forward to a great Senate tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, moving on to the next item of the agenda is update from the Expect More Committee. So Ms. Williams, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all doing well.
I just wanted to give a quick summary of some of the responses that were given in the survey about student government's presence. So in general, it seemed that people were neither pleased nor displeased with student government's presence. 50% of people who responded said that, and 61% felt that student government moderately represented their own values. In the portion of the survey that asked for, I guess, how people felt student government was doing in general, people believed that they were doing well when it came to recognizing the needs of students and making an effort to do things about it to improve their life on campus. They also appreciated the opportunity that they were given to, I guess, share their opinions on things that were going on campus through the survey. People would like to see more of student government in general. A few people mentioned that they didn't hear a lot about what was happening in student government on campus, or didn't really know about what they were doing in general, and would like more outreach. They would like more involvement or engagement with the student body. And they would like other ways to know what is going on through student government beyond social media. But that's all I have for you guys today.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Ms. Williams? Going once, going twice. Senator Bale.
Thank you very much. Ms. Williams, just a quick clarifying question, because I know we received a document with summary statistics. How many students were surveyed this time around?
So there are 76 recorded responses for this survey.
Thank you.
Senator Balboa.
What would be a different way to reach out to students other than social media?
That I'm not 100% sure about, but someone did specifically say that, I guess with social media, they were probably speaking specifically about Instagram, which is where like I personally get a lot of student government information from, and how like there's only about like, I'm not sure how many followers student government Instagram has, but like 2,000, where we have 16K undergrads on campus. So I guess the suggestion was perhaps finding other ways besides social media to reach out to students about events.
Senator Toplinsky.
Hello. I'm not sure if this question can necessarily be answered, but I guess I'm just a little curious. Is the advice with regards to social media, just because we don't control that, is that more towards like the e-board? Like, I think I'm just a little confused on like the outreach, how senators would help. Yeah.
Well, my goal was honestly to just give you what like I got from the survey, like what the responses were in general and how they felt about student government. And that was just a suggestion. So I guess like, yes, it could be passed forward to the e-board, but I just wanted to share everything that was gotten with you guys.
Senator Guan.
Hi, I just wanted to say like, thank you so much for actually taking the time to make this survey, because I feel like this is like a really good way to reach out, just kind of check the temperature on like, just like the student body in general when we're all like in different locations. I just wondering, like, are you planning to, how many more of these surveys, or if you are going to plan on doing more of these surveys in the future?
So yes, I do plan on making more surveys, of course. I actually want to send one out within the next month. And I guess as some committees in Senate have been sending me questions, so as I continue to get these questions, I'll keep making surveys.
Thank you so much.
Any additional questions? Senator Kelly.
How did these results compare to the last survey that was given out? I don't know if there like was a previous one, but just out of curiosity.
So this was actually the first survey given out this semester.
Senator Kwan.
Hi, I was just wondering if in future surveys there could be a question for more specific responses and individual responses, such as how exactly they want to see student government improve. Because although the information is super insightful and that's amazing, I would like to see like a direct manner that students are wanting us to move in.
I agree. I will definitely include that in the next survey.
Any additional questions? Going once? Going twice? All right, with that, I'm going to elapse time for questions. Ms. Williams, thank you so much for coming in and presenting this today. If any of you wish to get in touch with her, her email is in the StuGov roster, and I will make sure to put it into the chat as well. All right, next up, we have a budget update from Vice President Megan De Armas. So, Madam Vice President, the floor is yours.
I've never heard you say that. Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm Megan, in case you guys don't know me. I hope you do. Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about the budget. I know this has been very long awaited. So essentially, the reason why this update took kind of a while is because we didn't get our budget until October 14th. And I know that was like over a month ago, but I hadn't gotten the chance to present to Senate. So on October 14th, we were given $18,159. And this is an allocation that after I spoke with, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name. I forgot their name. SAO. After we spoke with them, they told us that this was only an allocation for half of the semester. So essentially next semester, we're going to be getting another lump sum, but that they didn't want to give us the full amount for an entire year because as you've seen, these times are super unprecedented. So as I had mentioned in Senate before, up until this point, we were still able to make purchase requests for any necessary expenses. So far we've only had 5 transactions, one of which these aren't listed on the slide, so that's why I'm going over them now. $206 by the Department of Communications for a website license, $395 for virtual Senate clickers that are to be used during your meetings, $1,500 on a partnership with CUBE for the speaker Monet Roberts, $3,100 for the new embroidered student government merch, and $1,300 on our student government retreat, which if you didn't attend, you definitely should go next semester because it was a blast. Like it was so fun. And I want to reiterate that, of course, this budget's only for this semester. So we're going to be given more money next semester, or a different allocation, and will be allocated using a similar process that I'm going to tell you more about now. Vinny, next slide. Thank you. So my process and thought process for allocating the budget was based both on past expenses and past allocations, as well as current opinions. So the budget itself was determined by creating ratios between last year's numbers and the budget we were given this year. So last year we had a budget of about $50,000, and this year was $18,000. So obviously that's half the amount. So the allocation was made accordingly. And then I didn't want to just do it based on hard numbers. I also sent out a Google form asking each department leader and cabinet and committee heads, as well as Andrea and Vinny and my e-board as well, to fill out detailing what kind of expenses they thought that they would incur within fall 2020 and exactly how these expenses were going to be used. The majority of the responses I got were basically saying oh, I'm going to need this amount, but I'm going to need it next semester. So obviously that's kind of a next semester issue. But I still wanted to ensure that each department would have some sort of budget so that if they did find that they had any expenses that they could do that. So as for academic affairs, they said that they didn't really need that much. So their ratio was lowered a little bit and allocated towards communications with $535. And then you can see going down, the only one that was also adjusted was events. And the allocation was taken from environmental affairs, I believe. Next slide, Benny, please. Thank you. So as for the Senate committee budgets, I'm think I had gotten a couple of responses, but they were pretty much just based off you guys kind of saying that you didn't really need that much money for the remainder of the semester. But I still wanted to give you some amount just in case something did come up. So it is pretty equal to the ratios that you were given last semester, but mental health and feast have $285 and 16K Strong has 428. Next slide, Vinny, sorry. And then as for the executive board and Senate, sadly, Naya has kind of like blown through her budget based on the student government merch itself, which is a little bit more expensive than the past years because they are personalized, as well as the retreat, which in the past we haven't had to spend as much money on it, but of course this semester was different, so we had to do that accordingly. And yeah, I think that's basically it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much. I will now open the floor to a 10-minute Q&A session. Senator Majorowicz, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much for that presentation. If you could go back to the committee slide, I just wanted to make like one thing clear from last year. The MHC actually requested $1,200, not $800. We still will probably use the amount for this year, $285, but I just want to make sure for consistency that it is known it was $1,200 last year.
Okay, was that a number that you requested or the number that was formally given?
It was a number we requested and formally given. I can send you the slide with that.
Sure. It wasn't the same on the transactional analysis from the past years that was on the student government.
Okay.
But definitely be in contact with me because I'm definitely more than willing to work with you guys in whatever initiatives you're doing. I'm obviously not going to say no to something that's going to better the student body. So
yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Bale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Vice President. Just a quick follow-up question to the final slide. Just for quick clarification, and Mr. Chairman, if you could, thank you. Just for quick clarification, the Executive Board in the Senate this year has now used that $6,496. There's not much left for the rest of the semester. Is that correct?
No, that's Vice President of Internal Affairs, which is her own personal budget that goes towards like more general student government wide expenses. Executive Board and Senate right now, the only thing has been the Senate clickers. So these numbers that are on here aren't taking off the transactions because I wanted to give you guys like the full number. But right now it should probably be like $6,100.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Topolsky.
Hello. I first want to say thank you so much for coming in today and talking about something that's been like very much anticipated. You did great. I really like for the first time about like finances, I don't have that much to say because you went so in depth and I really appreciate it. So I just have two quick questions, and again, not really difficult in a sense. The website clickers, actually, I'll go to the other one. The budget for the communications branch, is that money, is part of it, if you know, being used for like ads on Instagram? Because I know we just talked about like reaching out to like more BU students.
I don't think so. Maybe David, I don't know if he's present.
No, I'm here. Yeah, I can definitely step in for a second. Specifically for communications, we have run. Oh, also hi, Evan. I hope you're doing well.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, everyone else. Yeah, absolutely. So we have run a few different ads and promotions on specific events that have happened throughout the year. We haven't actually done anything specifically related to promoting the own account, as in an advertisement solely for the promotion of StuGov. But this has been in the works actually for the past month and a half in cabinet, where over winter break, as you'll see, there will be a large push for the StuGov growth of both the account and the attraction to the website to continue pushing that with the development of the mental health blog coming up. The health blog actually, as we expand it. So you will be seeing over winter break a lot more of StuGov push and promotion so that people can gear up towards second semester properly.
Awesome. Senate Chair, may I ask my second question if possible?
Yes, go ahead.
It might be more directed towards you. I'm not sure. I just was a little curious about the website clickers. What
might have,
are they?
I might have confused you a little bit. So the first thing is like the website, which was the cost that was incurred by the communications department for the new website license. But the other thing is clickers that Vinny requested, which are basically just like, clickers from like when you're in like big lecture classes, like that type of thing, but virtual, so that can like help you guys out during Senate. He had requested that earlier this semester. I don't know what happened with it, but it did get approved.
To provide the update, I was going to provide this in open forum, but I'll just give it now. I actually have a meeting with Turning Point tomorrow to start the process of basically the tutorial and figuring out how all this works. So I might have it ready by next meeting. It might be a next semester thing, but it is moving forward. I have the meeting set up for 2:30 tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Evan.
Are there any additional questions? Going once, going twice. All right, and with that, I'm going to elapse question time. Madam Vice President, thank you so much for your presentation. Now moving on to the last major point of our agenda is the elections update presented by the SEC and the EOC. Whenever you guys are ready to present, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. So, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. So, here's a quick election update. If you can click next. So, basically, who we are. So, the SEC is basically the Students Elections Commission, and we run elections in regards to the advertisements, figuring out the slate, and basically making sure everything is running freely and smoothly. We go hand in hand with also rule enforcement, so we make sure that every rule is being followed, and we also hold hearings. And we also have an oversight committee, which is called the EOC, which is where you guys come involved. And basically the EOC collaborates with us in order to improve the rules, but also get the Senate more involved, because we like hearing your ideas and we want to make sure and find a way that you guys get more involved with us as well. So we've met a couple times throughout the few weeks, and we've basically have learned a lot from the last election, especially since it was basically online. What we're seeing is that basically this election might be largely virtually, mainly because of the circumstances we're in. Because of this, we also do believe that we want to find a way where we can make sure that everyone has the ability to promote themselves in person and also virtually, because we are aware of the fact that there might be people in person and that fairness can come into play in this. Additionally, we have ideally we want this unified ballot in the case where we want all the college governments to put their ballots in so we can all vote at the same place. Because of this, this will lead to a higher voter turnout, and which can also lead to more of a collaboration and more understanding of student government to basically the whole student body. And in general, our voting period, we kind of want to shorten it in regards to what we saw last election period, which was towards the end of the elections. We realized that the votes did start coming down. So we realized that based on previous studies that once you shorten a voting period, there is a higher chance to get people to vote, and you will increase that voter turnout because there is that motivation that you got to get it in before a certain due date. So that's what we have looking forward into this spring.
Okay, so hi everyone, I am the EOC chair, Nick. I'm the EOC chair, so this is kind of like my contribution to what's been going on so far with the SEC. So one of the things that I really wanted to ensure going into this year's election cycle is that all full-time students, no matter of their LFA status, will be able to have the opportunity to run for office. So that is really something that has been agreed upon by the SEC and obviously the EOC. So that is something that we are definitely moving forward with for this upcoming cycle. And also a new addition to the application process is now there will be a disclaimer message, basically just telling applicants about, particularly remote applicants, potential difficulties that may arise from a completely remote campaign, but just to make sure that we're all on the same page before applying. And there was also a different change in how much by percentage of how much of the slate had to be on campus. So before, and you can see from the slide, it was 75%. But this year, obviously due to COVID and LFA, we have decided that no longer have that rule into place. And now the physical location has no bearing over who can and cannot run.
Okay, and just keeping with that and the LFA being continued into the spring, there will be some changes to campaigning. First of all, we're not going to allow any in-person campaigning outside of our supervision. This is due to the fairness. We don't want someone, a slate or a party on campus, having an unfair advantage over remote students, but also just because candidates are representatives of student government, and we as SEC and also student government as a whole are responsible for them. And we just want to make sure that everyone is compliant with all relevant safety regulations. We're also going to ban soliciting. So we really want to avoid sort of face-to-face interaction on campus, just because there is a potential risk there for people to be reckless. We will allow campaigns to sort of do like more passive advertising, which is like hanging up posters or flyers in residence halls or MUGAR or wherever. But this is contingent on all slates or parties having at least one member on campus, just so everyone has at least a chance to do this physical campaigning. But for the most part, we're going to be encouraging candidates to host virtual events and rely largely on social media, which is what happened in the spring when we transitioned online. And going with our reliance on social media, we will be continuing our policy of allowing candidates to purchase social media ads with their own money and then being reimbursed by us and SAO up to a certain amount. You can go on to the next slide. And so now I'll just run through the timeline of elections, which is actually starting next week. So next week, December 7th, our intent form goes live, which is it's a Qualtrics survey you need to fill out to register to run with us. And it'll go live next Monday, and we'll definitely remind you guys and send it. And we'll keep that open over break. We want it to be open for a long period of time to give people every opportunity to run. And just as a reminder, classes will begin the 25th. And then we're into the spring semester. So on February 3rd and February 9th, we'll be hosting information sessions for students. It's like a Q&A. We did it last year. It's pretty informal, and it's just for interested students to learn more about the campaign process. And we're also looking forward to hosting a leadership networking event for prospective candidates on the 4th. And that's really, if you're looking for a teammate for your slate or your party, this is a good opportunity to meet these people and sort of form a slate. And then the intent form closes on February 15th. And then campaigning will begin on March 1st. So that's the official kickoff for campaigning. You can go on to the next slide. So yeah, and these are all of our events. Basically, it's just going to be the month of March. So we're going to try and do the meet and greet outdoors on campus. And I can explain a little about how the tabling is going to work. So we're going to limit it to one representative per slate or party at a time. And we'll do it either at Marsh Plaza or the BU Beach. This is something we've been in a conversation with SAO about, and we should be able to make it happen in person. And it'll be a good opportunity for candidates to get FaceTime. We're doing it over 4 days, and we're hoping that gives people enough time to meet some students on campus. And then the next week we have our town hall event, which will be virtual, and that's more of an opportunity for candidates to introduce their platforms and take questions directly from the student body. And it is more of an informal event for students to interact with. We're thinking about using some sort of digital platform, not Zoom, like Remo or some other sort of platform for people to like meet, and it's more of like a conference rather than a video call. But we will be doing our debates probably over Zoom as we did last year, and we're going to be live streaming that event. And then the voting period, as Vanessa mentioned, is going to be shortened. So it's going to be the 22nd through the 25th. As always, you vote on your student link, and then we'll have some sort of announcement event. We're still working with SAO to see if we could have something that's worth having in person, like as a celebration of student government and of the new e-board, but it might just be online. We'll keep you in touch about that. You can go on to the next slide, Vinny. Thanks.
Hi guys, I'm Regina. I'm the other co-chair. So Daniel kind of mentioned it a little bit. So the intent form will go live on December 7th, which is next week. It'll definitely be open over break and extending into the next semester. We will be planning on having 2 SEC like info sessions. That way people can come in and ask any questions. And during this time, like during the time that the intent form will go live, we'll have our leadership conference, which we'll talk about in the next slide. And it'll be open until February 15th. And like the slide says, that it'll have a long registration period just so every student can have an opportunity to sign up, meet new people, get everything together from like their slogan to their logo to all like the really cool preparation things you do right before the start of campaign season. And this will be just enough time for everybody to make sure they have all their slate together. All right, you can go on to the next slide. And the Leadership Networking event, I'm really excited about because this is something that's been on the SEC to-do list since last year. And we really wanted to do this because we really wanted to aim it toward potentially freshmen or transfers, or even just people that are already at BU that may want to get involved in changing policy. But maybe their friend group isn't totally politically inclined and they really want to meet people that are as passionate as them. And this is something super cool because especially for at-large, I know that there's some coalitions that have been here for a while. So maybe to just bring about the next generation of that coalition, of that party, or even form together a new slate or e-board. It'd be just a really cool event that even senators can promote to their own constituents, just so they can meet new people. And definitely, if any of the senators are interested in joining our event, that'd be a super good promo for us. We're definitely super flexible with ideas. The creativity is super, super important. So any comments, questions, or concerns about this are much appreciated. All right, next slide. And this kind of ties into what I said. Spreading the news about elections and creating the hype is so important, and it starts from right now, way before we even start with the intent form or even just campaigning in general. Making sure that our constituents are in the know about what's going to happen, and especially those that are like the freshmen that are just starting off on a really weird note with virtual campus, virtual college. It's really important for them to know that they're included and that they can definitely get involved in StuGov. All right, next slide. All right, are there any questions for us?
So the floor is now open to questions. It will be a 10-minute time period as per usual. Senator Teplinsky.
Hi. So yes, I have a few questions. I know that last year there was a lot of issues that happened during the campaign period, and also during the voting period. One of the questions I had was, are students who are part-time going to be able to vote? Are they allowed?
Yeah, I can answer this. So yeah, that's something that we was brought up in Senate last year, and we've changed in our rules. We're still waiting on confirmation from BUIT because, but we changed the eligibility to include degree-seeking students. So the issue with the part-time eligibility is you show up in bad academic standing when that's not the case for everyone. Because you can, as a senior, you can down credit. But the only way to down credit and be part-time as a senior is if you're degree seeking, which means it's approved by your advisor, you're able to graduate on time, so it fits with your course of study. And so for that, yeah, obviously you should be able to vote for that. And we're sort of, by changing the eligibility to degree seeking, it will include those students. That still does not include students who are in bad academic standing or bad judicial standing, students in bad judicial standing have never been able to vote. and students in bad academic standing. We just didn't feel the need to include them, especially because as like how BU works it, it's mostly part-time students in the Metropolitan College who are finishing their degree over like several years. So, and they don't participate in student government. So yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I have more questions, but I'll come back. Thank you.
Okay.
Senator Zhang.
I have two questions. My first question is for the SEC co-chairs. You might have already addressed this. You probably actually did at the beginning of the year. But anyways, I'm wondering if you guys have given any more consideration in terms of accountability, in terms of, or I guess, having constituents and the public know of complaints that have been placed against slates, you know, for at-large party slates too. I'm just wondering what that process looks like, especially with virtual elections. I feel like concerns come up, and I've heard from a lot of students from like this past year's election that they felt like they weren't quite sure of what was happening and things like that. So that's my first question.
Yeah, this is an excellent question. So we definitely, as an SEC, we are a team, and we have definitely talked about this like back and forth and reflected on last year's election. So some ideas that we have that we want to implement for next semester are that we want to record each of the hearings in case there's a complaint, and they are already recorded, but they are in like student government records, but we want to make them more transparent and post them to the SEC website. We also don't want to have any anonymous complaints this year as well. So we think that if you're willing to make a complaint, then you're also willing to put your name on it. And that can kind of like improve the accountability from all parties. We don't want to be necessarily a fact-finding body, but we definitely want to just make sure that things are fair and that, you know, if things are clearly in violation of the rules, that they're accounted for. But we also aren't, you know, we're not like on a witch hunt to find necessarily who is in trouble or such. We just want to address whatever comes to us and make sure that everybody is participating in a fair way. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Can I ask just a follow-up clarifying question? I'm wondering, so when you talk about the no anonymous questions, do you mean that people who submit a complaint will also have to show up to a hearing where they argue against, or sorry, I guess provide evidence and things like that? I'm wondering, I understand where the concern's coming from. I do agree that it creates accountability, but I think at the same time, a lot of people place complaints, I think, rather than taking away the anonymous aspect, which is really beneficial for a lot of people, you could consider having a more thorough process in terms of kind of, I guess, I'm trying to find the right word, but like deciding what complaints are valid and which aren't, if that makes sense. I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts about that.
Yeah, so I think as an SEC, we definitely consult and see like the gravity of what a complaint is. I mean, there's an obvious difference if, like, let's say someone forgets to input a data point on their finance sheet, right? And then if they like campaign during a chat Zoom, like on like, you know, so it just depends on the gravity of the situation. And some of them will definitely just be like, hey, we got this complaint. It's not really worth having a hearing about this because it's so minor. But then if it's more serious, and as an SEC body, we consult on it, and we think that even if it gets to like judicial level where it might be off our hands, then we definitely would like to have like a hearing with that person as well. It can't necessarily be anonymous if it's super serious. But we'll definitely talk about more about like that anonymous aspect. I'm not sure if my other co-chairs have any other ideas.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. We're not removing the option to be anonymous. We're just not advertising it. If someone requests they would like to be anonymous, we'll honor that, especially if there's a special circumstance where they don't feel comfortable coming forward with a complaint. and we'll take it on a case-by-case basis. But what we found based on our experience last year is that someone would file a complaint, ask to be left anonymous, and then we would just sort of have to do a lot of the work, including finding evidence, where we're supposed to be more of a hearing board. But we don't want to advertise being anonymous because we just think it puts SEC in it sort of, it could compromise our impartiality. But if someone requests that and they have a reason for it and they still present a valid complaint with evidence, we will honor that request.
Thank you, Regina and Daniel, for that response. Senate Chair, can I ask my second question? Really quick.
Is it a quick one?
It's really quick. I'm just wondering what the flag behind Daniel is.
Yeah, sure. It's the New York City flag. I'm obnoxiously from New York City, so, and it's the only decoration I have. So there you go. Thank you.
Before I give the floor to Senator Teplinsky, is there anyone who has not asked a question who wishes to ask a question? Senator Teplinsky.
Thank you. So another question I had was, last year there was 5 slates and it was very difficult to start differentiating all of them in one debate. Have you given any thought to how many debates you would have if there was a certain minimum amount of slates?
That's something we haven't considered. I mean, I think 5 slates was unusual for any year. I mean, maybe we'll be surprised again. But also, I think there are some problems that come with that because we want a forum for everyone to be able to debate with every other candidate. And then it also becomes a matter of, who's assigned which time, like what days. So we'd rather just get them all in the same space to have a discussion. And it's really up to the candidates to distinguish themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I more so meant, oh, I apologize.
I was gonna add on to that. I was gonna add on to that really quick, especially since we're gonna probably do the debate online. Most likely, it's definitely gonna be online. The tags of the candidates will also identify them, which can also help you guide in differentiating the candidates.
I guess this might be a different question, but I think more so in having multiple debates is just, it helps students, including myself, understand more about the candidates. When it was just the one debate, it was a lot to differentiate between and to know their ideas. So this might just be more so of a suggestion if there could be 2 debates, if there's a certain amount of candidates.
Well, to your point, Evan, last year we only had one event, which was the debates. We had planned a town hall and we weren't able to make that happen because of all the transition online. This year we will be having a town hall, and that is really the event for slates and parties to introduce themselves to the student body and take questions, but also interact. And it's more of, we want to give them, the whole idea of the town hall is to give every candidate the spotlight for a little bit, to just let the students know who they are and what they stand for. And then the debate is a subsequent event where they have more of the opportunity to have a discussion about policies and argue for their candidacy. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
President Poore.
Yeah, one thing I want to emphasize, a comment. I know David has mentioned this already to Ting and the communications department, but we hope to work with SEC on really amplifying the different slates and also the different at-large parties. The election is really 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So we're going to spend basically all those 3 weeks talking about each slate, really pushing it. And as David mentioned, in January, we're going to be doing a major push and trying to increase our following base. So we will take as many steps, and the communications department will work directly with SEC on really amplifying these elections.
We have time for one more question. Going once, going twice. All right, and with that, I'm going to elapse the question and answer time. Thank you all for the presentation. We are now going to move into open forum. So if any of you guys have anything you want to bring up, the floor is open. Senator Aracena.
Oh, hello, guys. This is not a serious point, but this is directed to the flag behind Daniel's head. I have very strong opinions about the New York City flag. Being from New York City myself, I think it's one of the worst flags that have ever flown on this country. It's disgusting. Thank you.
Senator Bale.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to let you all know I had reached out to Dr. Judith Platt with a question I had a concern about. I think other students have a concern as well, specifically asking about how students should go about leaving campus this fall going into the spring, specifically with regards to, what happens, like, symptom attestation and stuff like that. Like, do they need to, are there procedures that students need to follow? And basically, Dr. Platt got back to me and she told me that students who are traveling home are recommended to update their LFA status for the winter break on the student link to show that they are not on campus. And then when they return, they need to update their LFA status up to 24 hours before they return. So if you are leaving between when your finals are over, you need to update your LFA status to say you're going home. And then when you come back, you have to make sure that you update it to say that you're on campus within 24 hours of the time that you return.
Senator Topunski.
Hi. This is just a request to the Senate Chair for necessarily next semester. Is it possible to have our advisor come to our Senate meetings? I know that happened last year, and I think it gives us another line, a more direct line of communication to the administration. And I see President Porras raising his hand.
Mr. President.
Anytime you guys want Dean be there, you just send
All
me a
times.
message and I will have him there.
Every week.
Every
I'm
week.
not kidding. Every week, like
I will
last year.
bless you.
Thank you.
Madam Vice President.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. So the Boston Intercollegiate Government recently started in an ad hoc committee of their own concerning like COVID response and what the colleges can do together in order to help a lot of students. So they are asking for they do specifically want like a BU representative. So if any of you are interested, especially since we created our own committee, if you would like to join, please let me know or let Kat Sabito know. You can Slack me or my numbers in my email as well. Or I don't know, you can tell me now if you really want to. But yeah, I just want to make everybody aware of that. I am looking for people. That we do have a large amount of people from BU student government in BIG, but I still wanted to let everyone know that you do have the opportunity to come join and to come help.
Senator Zhang.
Okay, Vinny, I think you muted yourself, so I wasn't sure whether or not you had called on me. If no one else has anything, I'd love to motion to adjourn.
I'd love to.
Second. Going
Okay.
once, going twice. All right, I'm open to hearing a second on the motion.
I'll second.
Wait.
Second.
Okay, yeah. Y'all raising your hands. All right.
I'm sorry, John Michael. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Little tree.
I'm not even gonna raise my hand now.
I love
Yes,
your
everyone,
Bob
please raise your
Ross
hands
stuff.
if you are in favor of this motion. All right, Mr. Vice Chair, do you have a supermajority?
I have a supermajority.
All right, with that, the motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop sharing and turn off the stream and recording. Thank you all so much. Have a great night, and I will see you all next week.